Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Human Service Committee to order. I'm Jan Burdick, chairperson, and please join me with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can we have roll call, please?
Mrs. Burdick.
Here.
Mrs. Ricketts-Swales.
Here.
Mr. Barnes.
Present.
Mrs. Hanchett.
Here.
Mrs. Root.
Here.
Mr. Rumfelt. Mr. Stockin. And Mr. Harris. 6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes of November 20th, please?
Ricketts-Swales will move it. Hanchett will second.
Any corrections or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Carried. Anita is not here from Office of Aging, so if Tyler, you're ready, we'll just skip right ahead to you, please. Welcome, Tyler.
Good afternoon. First up, nothing really to report on the monthly report. Pretty standard. I did have just 2 announcements, and I'll give a copy to Tiffany to include in the minutes as well. We did have a management review from the State WIC office, which is a nice way of saying it's a state audit. No findings, and they offer some technical assistance to our staff for some reports. But I will include that, so congratulations to the WIC staff. That's an excellent accomplishment. And the second thing I wanted to highlight is our public health education staff have been doing a wonderful job. Last month you approved our grant submission for the NICEHO Climate Mini Grant. And I wanted to include that for the meeting minutes too. An excellent job by Miriam Flamini and Rob Matisich. There's some nice graphs in here. This was their packet of submission for the grant. So take a peek at that. Some excellent work going into these grant applications.
Please thank your staff for doing that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any questions on any of that?
No questions? All right,
Okay.
we'll move on to,
First up is the Hover Network Agreement. This is for a new phone system for our WIC office. If you remember, last month I had, or a couple months ago now, accept and appropriate some funds that covered this cost. We knew we were going to need an upgrade to the phone system, and this is just ratifying my signature and entering into that agreement.
can we have a motion to accept this agreement?
Root will make that motion.
Hanchett will second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried? Thank you.
Next up is a preschool-related and evaluation service contract with Michaela Bowl for occupational therapy services.
Can we have a motion to accept that one?
Stocking.
Ricketts-Swales.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried? And the next one?
Next up is renewal of our comprehensive family planning program grant. This is for period number 4 of the 5-year block grant.
Hanchett will move.
Root will second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried? And one more, right?
One more, last but not least, request to approve our early intervention administration grant. And again, this is a renewal of a current grant, and this is period 4 of the 5-year block grant as well.
We have a motion to accept that.
Hanchett will move.
Ricketts-Swales will second.
Any questions? Tyler, do any of these grants have county matchers that all just,
They don't, no.
They-
No, you can see the amounts on there. Family planning was $324,324. And off the top of my head, $35,324 for the early intervention grant.
great. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions for Tyler? Thank you and your staff for everything you've done this year. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we will go back then to Anita Madison, Officer of the Aging. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you. Sorry.
No problem.
So the first thing is our monthly report. There are a few things I'd like to highlight. This monthly report is for October 1st through October 31st. Open enrollment for Medicare insurance counseling actually starts halfway through this reporting period, which is October 15th. If you look at the health insurance counseling units, we're at 1,004 units for that month, which is only half of the month for insurance counseling versus 309 the previous month, or last year at this time, 440. So we went from 440 to over 1,000 units for 15 days of insurance counseling. If that gives you any kind of indication when I say it was a crazy high cap season, there's 15 days to prove it. Housekeeping chore, our units are up there as well in PC1 and PC2. They are average. Our case management units are up as well. Information and assistance, 2,177 versus 1,945 the previous month, or 1,809 the same time last year. I would like people to keep in mind that these units, you'll see an increase in all of these units. It's the same staff that are doing high cap insurance counseling, case management, as well as some of the home delivered meals and information and assistance. So they have been very, very busy. Our home delivered meals are up, 8,829 meals in October versus 8,095 the previous month, or 8,744 this time last year. And our luncheon site is up, so 1,081 units of service in October versus 973 the previous month, and 1,052 this time last year. So our congregate sites have more participants, we have more home delivered meals. Our Go and Dine is up from this time last year, but it has stabilized at about 272 to 274 vouchers per month being redeemed.
You're busy.
Whoop, go ahead. Oh, go
I
ahead.
was just saying, you guys are very busy. Are you
Yes.
able to keep up with it with the staff you have? And
They are very busy. They have been working nights and some weekends to try to keep up, especially during high cap season. We have approved overtime in order to try to serve everyone. We still had about 40 people left on our waiting list after we sent names to New York State Office for the Aging for assistance. The New York State Office for the Aging did cut off the ability to take names after they reached 1,500 names from Office for the Aging for overflow. So we are still working on those people who have special enrollments, and our staff are still working long days.
thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
I have a question, ma'am.
Yes.
The Meals on Wheels, is it still coming from Olean?
Yes.
Is that contract under review for
It
when?
Yep, so it is it's a 3-year contract with a 2-year extension, so it's a 5-year contract total, and we're entering our 3rd year, so we would be in an extension next year. So,
So there's still not likely to get somebody in our county?
we would be going out, we'd send another RFP out and see if anybody is interested. Last time that we did that, we did not have anybody who qualified within our county that was interested.
Yes,
Thank you.
Mr. Healy.
Thank you. Does that contract have a 60-day out like all county contracts or most county contracts?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that Allison makes sure that we're covered there. But it does have that out if there is any issues that we're running into.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gretchen?
Yes.
Or Jennifer, sorry.
This is not a question, but a statement. I could not resist Go-Go Grandparents. What a great name.
It is a great name, and it is a great program. So we have used all of the funds that the New York State Office for the Aging put into a Go-Go Grandparent account in the Allegheny County Office for the Aging's name. So it didn't actually come through our budget. It went directly to Go-Go Grandparent. It was slow starting, but we do have vendors, and they have been absolutely wonderful in meeting the needs of our older adults that our transportation program cannot meet those needs. A lot of them are medical transports for older adults who are on dialysis, who would not otherwise have any kind of transportation because they don't qualify for Medicaid. Medicare doesn't cover transportation, and as many of you know, if you have dialysis, there are a lot of times you're not able to drive. And so we have a number of individuals who are utilizing the Go-Go Grandparent funds for those medical transports that would not otherwise have any family, friend, or transportation to and from those medical or life-sustaining treatments. And we also have the need for some out-of-county transits, so to Rochester, to Specialist, or Buffalo. So it is a great program, and I believe next year we're doubling our funding for that. So,
And that's at no cost to the county, correct?
I'm sorry?
That's at no cost to the county, correct?
Correct.
It's all through a grant?
Yep,
Yeah,
no
it's great-
cost to the
Great
county.
program. Yeah. Back to the numbers, any idea why things are increasing? And then usually come maybe, what, January, you get some people that head south, so will those numbers go down a little bit?
I can't, as far as all of the numbers, or are you looking at a certain number?
Probably the home-delivered meals, the luncheon sites.
Home delivered meals, we did see a lot of snowbirds who didn't travel south because of the volatile weather and some aftermath of that, and not being able to go to their homes in Florida. So we did see a lot of snowbirds who typically would be going off, staying on during this time.
And one more question from me on the health insurance counseling. That just doesn't end once the open enrollment is over, correct? You still do
Does
that
not.
year-round?
We do that year-round. Open enrollment from October 15th through December 7th is the general open enrollment. Starting January 1st to March 31st is the Medicare Advantage open enrollment, which is a whole nother open enrollment that our insurance counselors will deal with. And that is available for anyone who has a Medicare Advantage plan who wants to change to a different Medicare Advantage plan. So we have another 3 months of an open enrollment. It just is looking at a different type of Medicare coverage. And then even beyond that, we do enrollment. People are turning 65 or becoming Medicare eligible every day.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Anita today? Okay, I believe we have a request to fill.
Yes, so it is actually a request to fill, create and fill, fill 2 home-delivered meals drivers. So we have 2 substitute positions that we would need to fill. I'm sorry, I was just looking because they are existing positions, but I would need to check with HR to make sure that we have those slots. We have 2 individuals who are off on medical leave who would not be, they would be our regular Meals on Wheels drivers, and they won't be able to deliver meals for at least a couple months at this point. If we have any other drivers who need any time off in that time frame, we would be pulling staff at this point to drive meals. So we are looking to fill 2 substitute driver positions. When the other 2 do come back, these hours would be reduced back to substitute and fill-in positions, because that's what they are, substitutes.
All right, can we have a motion?
Ricketts Swales will move that.
Second?
Root will second that.
Any discussion? Mr. Healy?
I'd just like to point out that this is only 20% local tax dollars on these positions. 38% state, 18% federal, and 24% other. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
And clarify the others from contributions, correct?
Contributions, yes. The other is contributions for home delivered meals program. We send monthly contribution letters, which are just suggested contributions, and that money goes right back into the program to sustain.
Pretty good deal for the county. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a good deal for the people receiving it, too. All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Anything else, Anita?
I don't think so. Merry
Right,
Christmas.
and again,
Happy
thank you
holidays.
and all your staff for everything you've done this year, and we look forward to the next year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. All right, Mr. Horan from the Department of Social Services. Welcome, Don.
Good afternoon. Let's see. Starting off with the monthly report. I apologize for this, but on the first page under foster care and adoption services, the number of children in DSS care was a typo at 8. It should be 19. I just caught that at about 11:30 this morning. I ran up and let Brenda know, so, to make the correction. So, other than that, on the monthly report, we're pretty consistent. If there's any other questions on that?
Any questions? All right, I guess we will go on to your MOEs.
Okay. The first one is to accept the donation of $316.25 from the First Presbyterian Church of Olean. They donate every year, and we use this money to buy snacks for the waiting area at the CAC for the children that are coming in.
We have a motion to accept that.
Hanchett will move.
Stockton.
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
That's carried. And then renew the contract with Cattaraugus County Sheriff.
Yep. This is also for the CAC. This contract is mostly for law enforcement when we're doing interviews with the children and stuff, and they observe those interviews. And they also oversee the program called Celebrate. The Celebrate program is a program that if somebody tries to delete something out of their phone or their iPad or their computer, they can use this program to extract deleted information that's in there from the websites that they've gone out to. And they do a lot of advisement on like law enforcement and work with the DAs.
All right, can we have a motion to accept that?
Root will make a motion.
Ricketts Swales will second.
Any questions on that one? All in favor? Oh, sorry, Mr. Healy.
They try to limit the number of interviews the children have to go through, so they're not traumatized any more than they need be. That's why they have joint interviews, is that correct?
Yeah. There's the one interview, and they just videotape it. They're in the room, and then everybody else kind of watches that through a video camera.
Right.
To lessen the effect.
Yep, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Carried. And then we have some requests to fill.
Yep. Request to fill senior caseworker. We have one opening down there for that. This is in our CPS unit.
We have a motion.
Stockton moves.
Ricketts Swales seconds.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Carried. That one's approved. And one more, the senior typist.
The senior typist is in our accounting unit. She processes the payments for institutions and also does a lot of work with private health insurance, so it saves the Medicaid dollar. And she also does cost-effective referrals. And she's retiring.
All right.
Hanchett will move.
We have a second.
Ricketts Swales will second.
Any other questions? Do you have someone that can move into this position?
We've already started training her about
okay.
3 months ago, so.
Great, all right. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. I guess that, thank you, Don, and again to you too, and your staff, thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Brenda Rigby-Reilly, Clerk of the Board, has a couple appointments that we need to approve.
Yes, the first one, the chairman of the board plans to reappoint Janice Carson of Belmont, Joseph Felson of Wellsville, and Vicki Grant of Houghton, and Susan Stout of Wellsville as members of the Citizens Advisory Council to Office for the Aging for a 3-year term commencing January 1st, 2025 and expiring December 31st, 2027. And this is subject to confirmation by the board and needs a resolution.
We have a motion to accept that.
Hanchett moves.
Second?
Root will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And just so you know, I serve on the Citizens Advisory Council and have worked with all of these people, and I'm glad to see them reappointed and willing to serve again. So thank you to all of them. And then the Community Services Board.
Yes, the 4-year terms of Margot Kettlecamp of Houghton and Sharon Mulligan of Belmont expire at the end of the year. And Community Services Board has recommended these individuals be reappointed to another 4-year term through December 31st, 2028.
Can we have a motion for that one?
Ricketts Swales will move that.
And a
Stockton.
second? All right, any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you all. Thank you, Brenda. Unfinished business? New business? Good of the order? I'd just like to make a comment, being this is the last Human Services Committee meeting of the year, and thank everyone for everything that you do in your departments. You all have very difficult jobs, and we appreciate it, and I just want to make sure that everyone knows that we appreciate it, so thank you. And, all right, and a motion to adjourn. second?